Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into an absolutely fascinating breakdown by Nicole W. over at Lab Literate Vegan. We're looking at how to get the absolute most out of your plant-based diet. And honestly, we're going to completely reframe how you think about your meals. Because conventional wisdom, well, it's missing a massive piece of the puzzle. Okay, so let's jump right in with a pretty mind-blowing premise. You might be eating plenty of protein, hitting all those daily targets on your tracking app, but your body is basically letting some of it slip right away, completely unused. It's kind of like pouring water into a leaky bucket. Nicole's research points out that a well-planned vegan diet absolutely provides adequate protein. But here's the kicker. Intake does not equal absorption. The real question we need to be asking ourselves today isn't just how much are you eating, but how much is your body actually unlocking? Let's start with part 1, the digestibility gap, intake versus absorption. So here is the core of the issue. Our bodies simply don't absorb 100% of literally any food we eat. Some protein is always going to pass through unused. But there is a modest efficiency gap between animal and plant proteins. Animal proteins generally sit at around a 90 to 99% digestibility rate. Plant proteins, on the other hand, hover anywhere between 70 and 90%, and that heavily depends on the specific food and exactly how it's prepared. So this creates a real-world gap of about 5 to 15%. Let's make this tangible for a second. Picture your own dinner plate right now. If you sit down and eat a meal containing 30 grams of protein from meat, your body is effectively absorbing about 27 to 29 grams of it. But if you eat 30 grams of protein from, say, a hearty bowl of beans, you're actually only walking away with 24 to 27 grams of usable protein. Now, before anyone starts panicking, let's just take a breath and look at that number. A 2 to 4 gram difference is definitely not a nutritional crisis. You're certainly not going to waste away because of 3 grams of unabsorbed protein. But as I always like to say, it's not exactly nothing either, right? If you're an athlete or someone tracking their macros super closely, or really just someone who wants to get the absolute maximum return on their grocery investment, those grams add up, meal after meal, day after day. When you break down how this builds across different plant foods, things get really interesting. Think about your standard cooked items, like lentils and chickpeas. They sit a bit lower on the scale, absorbing at about 75 to 85%. But then you have foods like tofu, tempeh, miso, and natto, and wow, they are practically scoring A+ in digestibility. We're talking low to mid-90s. So it really makes you wonder, why does soybeans' digestibility suddenly jump from 85% all the way up to 97% just by turning it into tempeh or natto? Moving right along to part 2, why the difference? Natural plant compounds. It all comes down to these fascinating natural compounds: phytates, tannins, and protease inhibitors. Now, I know a lot of internet nutritionists absolutely love to fearmonger about these, calling them toxic anti-nutrients. But honestly, I like to think of them as the overprotective bouncers at the VIP club of your digestive system. They slightly block protein and mineral absorption from entering your bloodstream, but, and this is a massive but, they also offer some seriously awesome antioxidant and anti-cancer benefits. They aren't the villains here. Which brings us to this perfect insight from Nicole's article. She says, the key is not eliminating them, but managing them through preparation methods. I love that. We don't want to fire the bouncers, right? We just want to manage them a bit better through how we prep our food. We want to keep all those amazing health benefits of these plant compounds while just gently convincing them to let our amino acids and minerals through the door. And that leads us perfectly into part 3, the fermentation advantage, unlocking plant protein. Fermentation is essentially a culinary magic trick. It's a process where we invite beneficial microbes into our food to partially break down proteins and those anti-nutrients before we even take a single bite. Just think about it. Humans have outsourced almost everything in modern life, so why not outsource our digestion to these tiny, super helpful microbe sous chefs? They do all the hard work up front so our stomachs don't have to. The sheer scale of this upgrade is absolutely incredible. By letting the microbes do the heavy lifting first, you get a solid 5 to 10% boost in overall protein digestibility. But it doesn't stop there, oh no. You get a massive upgrade in mineral absorption too. And we are talking crucial minerals here, like iron, zinc, and calcium, which are notoriously tricky to absorb on a plant-based diet. Plus, because the food is essentially pre-digested by those microbes, you get a much happier, way less bloated gut. Let's look at the best ways to get this into your diet in part 4. Fermented heavyweights, top food sources. First up, we have natto, which is a traditional Japanese fermented soybean. It has incredibly high bioavailability. Actually, scratch that, a quick safety note straight from the source. Its high vitamin K2 content can mess with blood thinners like warfarin, so definitely always check with a doctor if you're on those medications. Then we have tempeh, made using rhizopus cultures, which is just fantastic at unlocking amino acids while retaining a really firm, meaty texture. And you definitely can't forget miso, or traditional fermented batters like those used for Indian idli or dosa. These ancient culinary traditions weren't just about great flavor, they were brilliant, intuitive ways to maximize nutrition. Okay, so how do we actually do this? Part 5, Practical Implementation Daily Steps. Here is the massive payoff for your meal prep. Just think about how simple one-to-one swaps compound over time. Swapping your regular tofu for tempeh, that gives you a small but really meaningful 2 to 5% absorption gain. Upgrading from standard sandwich bread to a fermented sourdough bumps your mineral and protein accessibility by up to 10%. And switching from standard cooked legumes to fermented legume dishes, boom, another 5 to 10% gain. Individually, yeah, these are small tweaks, but together, they completely transform the nutritional profile of your entire diet. So here is your game plan. Step 1, simply rotate fermented soy and grains into your weekly menu. You don't have to eat tempeh every single day, but, make it a regular guest. Step 2, when you do eat unfermented legumes, always combine them with soaking and proper cooking, especially pressure cooking, which really helps break down those bouncers we talked about earlier. And step 3, aim for 1 to 3 servings of fermented foods spread out across your meals each day. Follow these 3 simple steps daily, and you'll ensure a steady stream of highly available amino acids and vastly improved digestion. The ultimate takeaway from Nicole's research is just so incredibly empowering. We are constantly, and I mean constantly, bombarded with messaging that we need more protein. Buy this expensive powder, eat this fortified bar. But the truth is, you are likely already eating enough. You don't need to eat more food. You just need to start eating smarter food. You need to use more of the protein you're already putting on your plate. So, as you sit down for your very next meal, I want you to look at your plate and ask yourself, what tiny preparation upgrade could I use to unlock the hidden potential right in front of me? Could that sandwich be on sourdough? Could that stir-fry feature some tempeh? By treating your food preparation as the final crucial step in your nutrition plan, you're not just eating better, you're literally unlocking more life from every single bite. Think about that the next time you step into the kitchen.